Good morning, everyone, and welcome to session one of our Cozy with Coding Summit for this, what is for me a rainy day. I'm really happy to be all cozy and learning about really cool things you do with code. So today in this session, we're going to be getting started with coding in Minecraft education. So just to do a quick introduction, my name is Sarah. I am going to be kind of manning the control room today and keeping an eye on the chat for all of your questions and comments. And I do a lot of work with Minecraft, with Logix, with my own students at an after-school program, and as the coordinator of content at the Royal Ontario Museum here in Toronto. I actually built the museum's Minecraft worlds. So I am really excited to be here today, and you're going to be, for the most part, in the incredibly capable hands of Dan. So Dan, do you want to say hi?
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. My name is Dan Noble. I'm an education and Minecraft education consultant. I'm located here in Dumfries, Scotland, and my day is almost all Minecraft education, whether I'm doing PD like this or workshops or content building, which is actually probably the bulk of what I do at this point. So I craft custom experiences and worlds and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, and my child is extremely jealous of what I do, although I don't think she understands that it is actually work. All right, Sarah, back to you.
Yeah, if you're going to do work, it's a great kind of work
Yes,
to do.
it is a great kind of work.
So we do want to say a huge thank you to Minecraft for making these sessions available. And we also want to say a huge thank you today for CanCode for sponsoring this summit to let us be here specifically today to talk about coding. So as we get started, I do want to take a moment to invite everyone to reflect on the lands where you are. And even though we are meeting in a virtual space, we are meeting from physical places. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge and pay respect to the fact that I'm presenting today from the ancestral lands of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, which includes the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, on whose treaty lands I am so fortunate to be able to live and work today. So we do want to hear from you, and you can use the live stream chat. Just let us know if you have introduced coding into your classroom before, and what platforms did you use? So you can go ahead and do that. And while you are doing that, Dan, what experience have you had introducing code to students before?
I've used quite a few things. Code.org is a wonderful little website. They have some fun sort of pseudo Minecraft experiences there that are a lot of fun. Kids really enjoy playing. Make Code Arcade is another really, really, really cool one to go to. You can make your own video games. You can do side scrollers. You can do all sorts of really cool things there. Really, there's no shortage of things and tutorials and stuff that can walk you through it. And it's really cool because a lot of the tutorials for these things, particularly the ones that we're going to show you today, are a lot more approachable and easy to use than the ones that I used when I was a kid. When I was a kid, coding was not something that was done in school. It was done, you did it yourself. I had a Commodore VIC-20. I know I'm dating myself here. We saved things to tape. I learned BASIC from a binder over a summer once. And although I enjoyed the experience and a lot of that is still with me today, I just wish I'd had these tools at that time.
All right. So the other thing that we would like to know, because it is going to kind of guide the discussion a little bit, is how experienced are you with Minecraft? So again, you can let us know in the chat. 0 would be, what is Minecraft? I have not heard of this at all. 5 would be, I am an absolute expert. And while you are doing that, Dan, where would you put yourself?
I would put myself a 4.5 because as I have learned, there's always something new to learn in Minecraft, whether it's from the developer side or even if it's in the in-game side. Students are constantly teaching me new things. Like I had no idea that you could clear away certain effects, like potion effects in the game, by drinking milk. That was one that was recently passed on to me. Just because when you're in the developer space, you're building things. You're not really playing the game, so you don't see some of those things sometimes unless you've encountered it yourself. So because I keep encountering new knowledge, I don't think you can be a 5 personally. I think it's always it's just room for new journeys and new growth. What about you, Sarah? What do you think you are?
I would say about the same. I thought that I was pretty well versed in Minecraft, but every time I think I know all there is to know, there's an entire new branch that opens up
Yeah.
of new stuff to learn, which is one of the really cool things about Minecraft. There's a very
Hmm.
low bar to entry, but the things you can do with it, like the more you dig down, the more there is to discover.
Awesome.
All right. So, Dan, what are we doing today?
All right, so we're going to learn why we're going to learn coding in Minecraft education. I'm going to introduce some strategies for coding, and then we're going to get started with coding in Minecraft and jump into the tutorial world. And we're going to do one of my personal favorite tutorials, which is called Chicken Rain. And then I'll briefly mention how to export your code, which is useful inside of a classroom environment for students that want to share their experiences and their knowledge. And then we'll leave off with introducing you very, very quickly to Escape State, which we'll go and jump into in our next session.
All right. Sounds good. Take it away.
All right. So why we learn coding in Minecraft education? Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's a lot easier than saving to tape and clunking away from a binder. So it's very, very, very modern way of doing things. You jump in, you can do, you get immediate feedback from what you do. You don't have to necessarily save it and run tests and apply it and pull it back out again. It allows for a lot of problem solving. There's creativity involved. One of my favorites is, there's no wrong way of doing anything, right? Like there's just more efficient ways of doing code. So there's multiple vectors to success in this. And coding, I think, has a lot of real world relevance as well, because it's one of these things that, it's like doing a recipe. Like it's a series of instructions, right? So it's applicable to other areas in your life. And I think the problem solving that we do to debug code is often, something, again, those skills that we can use in other areas of our life. Let's see. The other thing is, your kids just love Minecraft. So it doesn't matter what you're doing in Minecraft. As soon as you say we're doing Minecraft today and we're doing coding, like they're just going to be really excited. So there's a lot of engagement here. So you'll notice I'm jumping around from point to point, not in an order, and that's fine. And also, there are 3 types of coding inside that we can do in Minecraft. We can do block code, JavaScript, and Python as well. So typically we start off with make code, block code, and then we move on as we gain experience and knowledge. So strategies, I think, are one of the most important parts of approaching coding, because coding, like a lot of procedural things, can be slightly frustrating or very frustrating at times, even for somebody that's been doing it for a long while, like myself. So, and I have to remind myself of these strategies too, because when you're getting worked up over something that's not working, you have to slow down and take some deep breaths and stay calm, because getting frustrated and getting worked up is not going to help you solve the problem. And the next thing you do is you take a quick break. Go get a glass of water, go get a coffee, take a few minutes to refresh your brain and clear it out, get rid of the cobwebs and come back in and take another crack on it. And while I recognize that you can't always sleep on it in the classroom, if it is a project that's happening over a longer space of time as opposed to just an afternoon, I do find that if you do sleep on problems, the resolutions usually quickly spring to life the next day, and you can apply them and solve the problem and move on. It's all about just giving your head space to let it work its sort of unconscious magic. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everybody has different strengths, I think, when it comes to these kinds of things, and different specialities. So, reach out to, have your students make sure they're collaborating and talking to each other and sharing and helping, because that moves everyone forward as we share all those different unique things that we know. Pseudocoding is really important, particularly when you're learning coding in Minecraft, or for that matter, any other sort of platform. And what pseudocoding is I'm taking a pad of paper and a pencil or a pen, and what I'm doing is writing out what I'm doing. I'm not explicitly writing out the code itself. I'm just saying this part of the code is going to do this. I'm going to turn left here. I'm going to move forward 3 spaces. I'm going to place this block here. And you can compare that with your actual code to see potentially where you might have gone wrong earlier. So it's really, really great as a reference that way. And it's also good for helping you keep track of key points. Like if you have to move 10 spaces 5 times, then 7 and then 6 and so forth, if you don't write that stuff down, you're going to forget it and you're going to make more errors. So pseudocoding is really, really helpful. Also, test your code in smaller chunks, which is something that we can do really easily inside of Minecraft Education. So that's really important so that we can see problems one at a time, as opposed to doing a whole big giant piece of code and then encountering 5 or 10 problems that we're going to have to solve individually. So break it down. And then have somebody else put eyes on your code to check it and debug it. Because frequently I've written something and I'll be sitting there staring at it for quite some time. And then I'll hand it over to Sarah here or somebody else. And they'll look at it for 2 seconds and go, you missed a colon, you missed a semicolon, you missed a dot, there's a quotation mark missing, something really small. And that's just how humans work. Whether I'm working on an essay or something like that, I could have proofread it 500 times. I'm still going to miss the same errors that I've put in there. It's just the way that we work. So that's why having different eyes on it can be very, very helpful. So today, typically what I suggest that we start with is the coding tutorial world and Raining Chickens, which is one of my personal favorites, and it's a lot of fun. Even as an adult, and even having done it probably about 500 times now, it's still a lot of fun. The next one that I suggest we go into after this, which we will, is Escape Estate. So we're going to open up our coding tutorial world. So if you haven't signed into Minecraft already, do so now. You're going to click play and you're going to go into your library. I'm going to go into, and I think we discovered this yesterday, it's different now, isn't it? It's not digital skills anymore. So it's subject kits, computer science, and then block coding. But we'll walk through it live in a minute.
Yep.
And you can always type in to the search up in the top right, Code Builder tutorial, and it will find this specific lesson so you can open it up.
Yeah, that search bar is a lifesaver because every so often Minecraft Education decides they want to restructure their menus. So all of your slides and all of the things that have become muscle memory of, okay, guys, go here, go here, go here is going to change. But now there's a search, which makes it so much nicer.
So when we get into this lesson, one of the first things I'm going to ask you to do is actually type in /remove@c. So you're going to bring up a command prompt inside Minecraft. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to type in remove@c because we're going to remove the code builder because he's actually been hanging out in this world forever. And as such, he doesn't respond to commands very well anymore. So we have to remove him, kind of like rebooting your computer almost, and bring the agent back in. All right. If for some reason Code Builder doesn't start when we get in there, you might need to go to your settings and check your keyboard and mouse settings to make sure that, in fact, you have Code Builder tied to the C key. If it's been changed, you might have to reset your default settings. All right, so let's jump over to Minecraft. Okay. So we are going to the lesson library. We're going to subject kits, computer science, block coding. It's lower primary, isn't it?
Primary.
And there's our Code Builder tutorial. And as I said, you can just type in Code Builder up here and it will find it a lot quicker as well. So let's jump onto the Code Builder tutorial and we're going to click Create World here. And if you haven't played Minecraft before, do let us know and we can go into a very, very quick tutorial of movement. And actually, as you can see right here, right now, I have my keyboard tips up. They should actually, if you're logging into Minecraft for the first time, show automatically. If you want to hide them, you can press H to toggle them on and off again. So I'm just going to move down here. And as you can see, here's my agent. He's been hanging out forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the / key on my keyboard. And I'm going to type remove@c. So this is a command. It's a little bit different than coding. And I'm going to press enter and our agent disappears. So I'm going to call it back when we get back outside. So I'm going to right click on the door here to open the door. move my plus sign over the door and click right click. If you're on a Chromebook, you're going to be using your snake bite or bunny ears, which is 2-finger tap on your mouse pad. Okay, so let's bring our agent back right now. So I'm going to press C. So this opens up Code Builder. You're probably not seeing the screen if you haven't used it before. You'll probably see this. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to click on this magenta puzzle piece section up here. So Microsoft Make Code. So that's what we're going to be clicking on. And then we get to this screen here. So you can go back to that first screen at any time by clicking up this sort of button here next to the X. Because this happens, I find, with students all the time. When you're doing a coding lesson for the first time, they will invariably click on the wrong thing. And then they won't know how to see, you'll be halfway through 8 screens before they've really fully recognized that they can't get to where you are. So it's important to know that you can always go back here and stuff where, click, okay, what's it doing? Oh, you know what? My Minecraft just crashed.
Oh, no.
So that is actually an important thing to note here right now, is that the coding agent inside of Minecraft, this particular version right now, is buggy. It has a tendency to just crash. The good thing about this is when it does crash, your progress is saved at that point before it crashed. So you can always get back to where you were, but it will likely, and I'm going to use a real technical term here, it will barf on you, probably at least several times. Those issues are promised to be resolved with the next release, which I believe is sometime in the summer.
Yeah, this is an issue that started with this recent update. It's not a thing that has always been present in Code Builder either.
So I'm going to go back to the screen here. And we're going to do Chicken Rain. So this is Chicken Rain here. These are the tutorials. There's a ton of tutorials here that you can go through.
Some of them are really fun too.
Oh yeah, they are. They are absolutely a lot of fun. So I recommend trying out more than just Chicken Rain. But Chicken Rain is one of the simpler ones and one of the easier and again, really fun ones to start with. So we're going to click on Chicken Rain here. And again, we're going to click blocks. It's important that everyone picks blocks because that's what we'll be walking through today. It's also what we use for starting learning coding in Minecraft. I wouldn't want to start with Python or JavaScript. That's maybe a bit too much of a tall order, particularly for younger students. All right, so important thing here is that, like everything, a lot of things in Minecraft, we have a special tool called Immersive Reader. And it's this little button here, and you can see this on non-player characters that you interact with, and it's all usable with posters, slates, boards, and signs. And I can launch it at any time. So it's this book and speaker icon. Now, if I click on that, it's going to open up Immersive Reader. So if I click play, it will read all this text back to me. If I click on a specific word, it'll give me the option of playing the word to me. I can even read it in French here, and it'll show me pictures potentially of the word as well. So it's great for emerging readers or English as a second language students. All sorts of other tools that I'll let you explore in here, but the other one that I do want to point your attention to is the Translate tool here. So in this case, I've selected French, but there's a ton of different languages in here. And if I click document, it will actually translate everything into French. And if I click play, it will read it in French too. So really, really handy tool here. When I want to get out of Immersive Reader, I can just click the back button here. Okay. So just a little bit about this particular tutorial. Usually when you start the Code Builder, you'll have a lot more categories than this. You'll have a ton of them. But because this is an introductory tutorial, we don't want to overwhelm people with options and choices. So typically a lot of the tutorials are targeted to specific categories, and in those categories are only the blocks that you're likely going to need to build code. So it's really great for students that way and not overwhelming them with choices. So here we have our workspace here. We have a hint button up here, and here's our Immersive Reader tool up in the top right. Hint is really good. It's good to check with as you go through step by step. It will tell you what you need to do, or in some tutorials, it'll just give you wee hints. This is our workspace. So I've got an on-chat command. This is basically like the header for my program. So I could have multiple programs in this workspace. I just have to be careful to name them something very specific so I don't confuse them. You can copy and reuse code in this space. We'll show you how to do that. There's also a magnify button here. So if I do get my eyes get a little tired and I want to take off my glasses, I can blow this right up so I can see that nicely and clearly. And again, I can just sort of grab with my left click and move that around. There's also side scrollers here. So let's actually start by, if you notice, if I move over a chunk of code here, they're kind of like puzzle pieces. I've got a wee hand there. If I left click and hold it, I can drag anything I don't want off and into the bin here. So there it goes. So I've only got the code here that I need at the moment. So we've got our instructions at the top, and I am terrible for this. I will often just glance at instructions. I think it's just a bad habit I picked up as an IT person for 15 years. It's just like, oh, I know how to do this. I'll just, yeah, it's fine. We're good. Let's carry on. And then I make horrible mistakes and I've got to go back and fix them because I didn't read specific instructions. So I do have to remind myself, slow down, read the instructions carefully. So I would remind your students to do that too, because I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be a lot like me in a lot of ways like that. So it says put in an on-chat command and rename it to chicken. So we already have one here. So I'm going to click in here in the little bubble and I'm going to turn run into chicken. So that's the first thing I need to do. And then we've got our slider here so we can move back and forth in the instructions. So I'm going to click next. So the next one is we're going to spawn a chicken. So spawn a chicken means create a chicken or summon a chicken into this environment. And we've got a mobs. I love how it has the little paw icon here. So it's actually the different colors and different symbols here, which is really, really great. Different ways of differentiating the different categories. So we're going to grab
about the tutorials, I think, is that use of just the color coding and the
yes
to help students figure out where to look for the blocks that they need.
Exactly. So we're going to grab this spawn code here. So I'm going to left click, grab it and drop it in here. Now you'll notice if I drop it in here, it's kind of hatched out. That means it's not an active part of my code. As a puzzle piece, I need to drop it into my on-chat command puzzle piece to activate it. So I'm going to drag it up here. Now it's active. It's turned full purple. So I know that it's now an active piece of this code. So the code under the chat command will, when you type chicken in the Minecraft chat, 000 is the relative position of the player. So what does all that mean? Okay, so we're going to spawn an animal, a chicken. So we have to select chicken. So it's already selected to chicken. And we've got at 000. So in Minecraft, we have X coordinates, we have Y, and we have Z. So X is back and forward, Z is left and right, and Y is up and down. And we can have positive numbers and we can have negative numbers. And right now, those tildes basically indicate 000, which means that if I were to spawn a chicken right now, it would just spawn at my feet.
Yep.
So it's not going to be raining chickens, it's going to be placing a chicken. But this is what we need right now. So if I check my hint button here, they look the same. So we're right where we need to be as we progress through this. So we're going to change the spawn position to 10 blocks. So we're going to change the y-axis to 10. So in Minecraft, each block is, I think it's a meter by a meter by a meter. So this will be 10 meters above my head. All right, so let's just double check. Yep, that's looking good. So we can move on and click next. Okay, so now we're going to test our code. So again, we're kind of breaking it up into chunks a wee bit. So I'm going to click the green play button. And then it looks, there we go. It's not happy today, but at least it hasn't totally barfed yet. Okay, so I'm going to press T. So T opens our on-chat window like we did before, but this time, instead of typing a slash command, I'm going to be typing the name of my program, which is chicken. So just type chicken and press enter. And if I look up really quickly, I should see a chicken descending on my head. There we go. So we've got one chicken. So let's go back to our code now. So yes, we saw our flying chicken. So the chicken is lonely. Let's place a repeat loop around the spawn to create 100 chickens. So this is where, again, what we were talking about before about the different sort of avenues for doing coding in Minecraft is that there's often lots of different options of approaching things. So I could right click and duplicate this and do that like 100 times. But that is not an efficient use of my time or my efficient use of coding. Because there's more of a chance of me making a mistake, and it's just going to take a long time to do. So that's where loops come in handy. So I can grab this, drop this in, reorganize. So I've got my chat window first, then the loop, then the spawn. Now, in this case, it says 4, but we want 100. So we're going to change that to 100. Now, one word of warning, students will use this as what we refer to as a lag engine. Students love to create lag engines. I don't know why, but it basically ultimately collapses the program because Minecraft has, I can't remember, Sarah, how many was it? It was like a couple of thousand or more entities that we could summon into the game before it just says, no, I'm not doing this anymore, and collapses. So I would be very careful with how many entities you summon. You can probably do several hundred comfortably. It'll be fine. But yeah, if you have a student come in here and say 10,000 or 10 million, it's just going to stop working. So
the world will become unplayable.
Yes, that's a very important point to know. So if they've done anything else in there and they decide to create a lag engine, it's potentially unrecoverable, which can be sad and many tears for people if they've done a lot of work in there. Okay, so we've got 100 chickens here. So I'm going to click play. I'm going to do T, and I'm going to type chicken. And if I look up, I should see 100 chickens. There we go. Lots of chickens. Oh, I didn't. When they landed on the carpet, there, like little bits of carpet went flying up. That was weird. I've never seen that before. Okay, so we got lots of chickens wandering around. So let's click next here. So we've completed our first mob. And if I click done, it just closes Minecraft altogether and crashes. So let's just open up Minecraft again and try to get back where we were. Okay, where is Minecraft? Minecraft is over here. Okay, there we go. So let's go in. So as said before, if it's crashed, I should be able to go in here and it should have left off where I left off. Yeah, so there's our chickens running around. So I'm going to go back into code. And I've got my chicken raid tutorial here. So I can open this up. And there's the code as I left it. I'm not going to click done this time. Or should I? Let's try it again. Well, okay, yeah, it worked this time. Okay, so when you've done that, now you have all of the categories. So now you can start playing and experimenting with code. And that's what you do with code is, as somebody that's played with code for many years now, I play around with it to see what I can get away with. And what other things I can achieve by changing with it. So at this point, we usually encourage the students, all right, let's try different animals. And see what kind of results we can get. So we could maybe change this to, we'll pick a flying one. Students will likely pick things that are not going to fly, so dolphins and cows and stuff, and have them raining from the sky. Let's pick an LA. I really like the LAs. And let's say we'll go with 25.
Yeah.
And, oh, actually a good point here is how to export your code. So if you click on this cog here up at the corner, you can save the project. And if you click Save Project, it will give you a Windows interface where you can decide where you're going to export your project. So it saves it as an MKCD file, so it's a Minecraft coding file. So any student could share this with a teacher or another student, and they could review that code or implement that code on their own system. All right, so we've got our allies here, so let's click T, and it's still named chicken. All right, so there they come. Oh, wow. And they're just all going to hang around up there. Oh, okay. Well, they're slowly descending. Okay, so I'm going to type a little command here, remove at E, and then I'm going to hit enter. So this one is a fairly powerful little command. It's really good for stopping a lag engine from getting too carried away, but it can also be dangerous as well. If you have specific entities in your world, maybe you've summoned some specific cows and given them names and put them in specific places. If you type this command, it will remove all entities in the world.
Yeah, that includes NPCs, that includes minecarts, that includes armor stand.
Everything.
So be
So
very careful with this one.
yes, I'm only doing this one because I've got 200 entities wandering around here. I haven't added anything else. It's all cool. But I do have sessions on Sunday. I have a special work group on Sundays, and one of the kids decided to do a / remove at E command, and it removed every entity in the game, even, again, as Sarah mentioned, NPCs and animals that people had given names and text to and stuff like that. So there were some upset people. All right, there we go. Oh, and it also killed me. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll just respawn here. And we've got a lot of debris left over. Let's pick up some of the chicken stuff. Get rid of that. Oh, we can't get rid of that. Okay, I'll put my back. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to move on to these challenges. So there are several challenges inside of this world. They're all really great for getting started with coding in Minecraft. It's very build upon knowledge as you go through and then apply that knowledge to different challenges and puzzles. So it really builds you up. So the first thing that we need to do is come here and read this sign. So we're going to move our agent to the start plate here. And we have to be aware of our agent's rotation. So depending on how that agent spawns into the world, it may be facing the wrong way. And then we're going to move our agent forward to the gold plate to complete the challenge. So this is a fairly simple one, but it's a really great one to start with. So we've got our gold plate here, and this is our start position. So let's start by bringing our agent into the world. So I'm going to stand on this plate here. You can tell if you're standing on it in the right way, in the right place, because the lights will light up. I'm going to press C, and I'm going to press X here. So my agent is facing the wrong way, so I'm going to have to turn that around. I'm going to have to take that into account when I do my code. And I'm actually just going to open up a fresh piece of paper here to do some pseudo coding so I don't forget what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to turn my agent around twice. So it doesn't really matter which way I turn it. So turn twice. And I usually just use like a shorthand here. So I'll do little wheel arrows and numbers. Then I need to move my agent forward several times. So we are in a protected environment here. So if I try to break blocks, it won't break them. But you'll notice that they do kind of flash when you hit them. This is actually useful for when we're doing these coding activities because you can kind of count out how many blocks we need to go and see how many we need to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to move my agent forward 10 spaces. All right, so let's go back into our code builder and write the code. So I'm going to click on player. I'm going to grab a new window. I can leave my chicken rain one here. And
Dan, can you make it a little bit bigger so we can see?
Oh, yes. Because it crashed.
Thank you.
Then we lost that. Okay. So I guess I'll just call this challenge 1. Might want to be a little bit more descriptive depending on what kind of challenges we're doing and how many there are, because you can get lost very quickly. The first thing I need to do is click on the agent, and we've got an agent turn left. That's good. And then let's go back to the agent, and then we've got agent move forward. So I'm going to do these ones. So for this, I don't need to use, I could use a loop over this agent move forward by 1 and get it to move 10. But inside here in this particular piece, we have a window that we can change. So I can do 10. But I could use a loop on the first one. There we go. And I'm going to do this twice. So agent turn left twice and then move forward by 10. So let's see. Oh,
One thing that
come
I'd like to
on.
point out,
Oh
because
my gosh.
Dan, in your code, you had challenge 1 without a space. That's really important. Code Builder does not like chat command triggers that are 2 words because it has trouble reading the second word.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to type T and then challenge 1. And there we go.
Hey.
Made it to the end. All right, and get some the stuff out of the way. The stuff will eventually disappear. It actually disappears after 5 minutes. And this world is not locked down, so we can also change our game mode to creative as well. You can do it through the settings, or you can do it through a command. So /game mode C will put me into creative mode. I don't really need to be in survival or adventure. It doesn't really matter what mode I'm in this world. But it is handy because I can fly around a little easier and get a better handle on the challenges and what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so we're going to move on to our next one here. So challenge 2. So again, I'm going to stand on here and summon my agent. So I can do that by, actually, I should write some code for that, just so that I can do this quickly and easily. So I'm going to create a new on-chat window here, and we can organize these as we add more code in. So agent teleport to player. I'm going to call this one TP for teleport. So if I come up here and type, TP, it'll move my agent forward. All right, so this time it's standing facing the correct way. So I could go to, if I read the board, it'll tell me what to do. Again, that's me not reading the board again. So this challenge has 2 gold plates. We can move our agent to one or the other. We don't have to go to both. All right, and then this time we have to do a turn. So I'm going to go to this one over here. Oh, that one's already open. I wonder why that is. Okay, well, we'll go over to this one then. So again, I'm going to do some pseudo coding here. So I need to move forward 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I need to turn left. And then I need to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's go back to our code. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to drop them into the chat today. All right, so I'm going to rename this one challenge 2. And to drag this out, I don't need the loop anymore. So I'm going to move the agent forward by 4. Agent's going to turn left once, and then I'm just going to duplicate this one. When you're duplicating, make sure that you check the number that you have in here, because that value is going to stay the same as the code piece that you've duplicated. And we need to move forward 5, which is what I wrote down. All right, so let's go start. Come on, you can do it. Type T and then challenge 2. There we go. So it did
so
that.
Satisfying.
I like how it runs.
So cute and so fast.
All right, so I guess, yeah, we'll have time for at least one more. So this is challenge 3. This is much more complex than the last one. We have a lot of series of different movements that we need to program our agent to do. And it's helpful when I think we do this one specifically in chunks. So we should break this one down. because I did try to do this on a few occasions where I had the agent go from beginning to end, and I've never been able to do it without running into a problem. So we're going to break it down here. So
Yeah,
the
that
first thing
chunking strategy, that's one that I always use with my students because it
Mhm.
just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to stand here again. I'm going to type T and type TP. And there's our agent, and it is facing the wrong way. That's okay. We can program that in. Okay, so challenge 3, ups and downs, vertical movement. Move your agent through the maze, reach the gold plates, finish the challenge. Standing on the white plates will remove the lock blocks in your path. You will need to move up and down to overcome this challenge. Okay. So we're going back in here. I'm going to change this to challenge 3. And let's move some of our code out here and start. So we need our agent to turn. Looks like he's facing that right. So we're going to turn right. And let's do some pseudo coding here. So we need to move forward 3. And then up by 1. And then forward 1. And that brings us to the first plate. Let's go change our code here. And turn right. And move forward by 3. And then if you click on the forward, you can change that to back, right, left, up, and down, so forth. So we're going to click up. And I did 1. And then duplicate this and move forward by 1. So that should get us to the first plate. Let's click start. And type in challenge 3. Oh, there we go. It paused there. I thought it wasn't going to do it. I thought I'd done something wrong. Okay. So now I'm going to call my agent back here. Oh, bring it back. And we'll add to our code to get us to the next plate. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of that turn right block there, because now the agent's facing the right way.
Mhm.
So I don't need to do that this time. So let's see. So it would have been standing here, so now it needs to move forward 2, and it needs to go up 1, and then forward 1, and then up 1, and then over 2. So forward 2, and then down 2. Okay, so let's program that in. Okay, so forward 2. So we create a new one here. Forward by 2. And we can add, I only learned this yesterday, so Sarah taught me I can add a comment here.
Yes.
So I'm actually just doing that to as a little way of breaking up my code so that I can see. It's like flagging it and say, this is the next section here. So I think it's just a cool little note of saying, where those breaks are for you. So it won't hinder or impact your code at all. It's just a great visual reminder that this is the next section. So we are moving forward by 2. And so then we need to move up by 1. And then we need to move forward by 1. I'm being really lazy here, and I am just duplicating code. So forward 2, up 1, forward 1, and then up 1 again, and then forward 2 again, and then down 2. We'll change this one to down, and then 2. All right, so we'll see if this works. Okay. Challenge 3. Oh, that's interesting.
I did it.
Yeah. I can't even move my mouse now.
It's moving on our screen.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. That was really weird. It was locked on. It was locked for me again. It's one of those bugs with the code builder right now. All right, so let's get our code builder back here. So TP. All right, so let's add another section here. So we got this far now. So let's do a little more pseudo coding. So we're going to move forward 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, and then forward 2, down 1. Okay, that was shorter that time. Okay. And so let's go back to our code.
Oh, I see why he's pausing.
Yeah?
Because you have it move forward by 4 rather than 3.
Oh! Is that the first one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. Let's correct that. See, that's why it's important to have a second set of eyes on this. But also, if your code works, sometimes even if it's a little inefficient, there might be an extra step in there. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I frequently will hand my code over to a friend of mine who's a much better coder than me and much, much more efficient with his coding, because that was his original thing, was coding. So, he'll clean things up for me and it'll look a lot nicer too at the end. So, it's good. Yeah, make friends that are good coders. That's helpful. Okay, so we're going to do forward 3. So let's copy this one. And again, I'm going to add that comment there just so that I know that it's my next section. So forward 3, up by 1, and then forward by 2, and then down by 1. Okay. There we go. So is that right? Forward 3, 1, 2, 1. Okay, good. All right, let's try that. Challenge 3. And it doesn't pause this time. There we go. It just flew right through. Excellent. All right. So now we just have our last section here to get out of. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, I have to move up first. So up by 1, forward by 1, 2, 3, down by 1, 2, and then forward 3. All right. Program that in. Oh, I'm going to move my agent back here. And again, we are breaking everything up in chunks here, so we're not making too many terrible mistakes as we go through. All right, so up by 1. So we'll duplicate this one. And again, I'm going to add my comment there so I know when I start a new section. And forward by 3. And then down by 2. And then forward by 3. All right, let's try that out. I can't turn again. It's really weird.
I can
Okay.
still see it moving
All
on
right.
the share, though.
Yeah.
So it's catching up.
All right, so let's type our code in here, and there it goes.
Whee.
Yeah, all right, we did it. Okay, and I can't turn yet. Come on, turn. No. All right, so the next challenge is a little different. What we have in here is we have some water, we have some lava, and the important thing to know about the agent is pretty much immune to any of the effects inside Minecraft. Like if you have him walk through fire, you have it walk through lava, or you have it submerged in water, it won't drown, it won't catch fire, it won't melt in lava. It's perfectly fine. So you can send it into all sorts of dangerous situations that you wouldn't go yourself. And there's lots of practical uses for the agent too. Both Sarah and I will use the agent to help us build things inside Minecraft when we're doing projects. So it does have some practical uses. It's not just for, doing coding tutorials or coding games. Can I move yet? No, I still cannot turn left or right.
That's really weird.
Maybe if I do this. No, it's really weird. Okay, so let's go stand here and type TTP. All right, so we've got our agent forward there. It is facing the right way still. And we need to move our agent to the first plate. So let's see here. And this one, we're going up, we're going down, we're going right, and we're going left. I'll see if I can read the sign here. It's hard because I can't turn. Oh, there, I can finally turn again now. So navigate through the obstacles of the course to reach the 4 white plates scattered about. Stand on the plates to light the towers. So as you complete each part, it will light up one of these towers. When all the towers are lit, Gondor will answer, right? Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, little Lord of the Rings joke. And then we're going to move to the gold plate. So I don't know if we have time to get through all of this, but we're going to try. Okay, so we're going to move up 1. And then I'm going to move forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to turn left and move forward by 1. Okay, so let's go back to our code here. And what I might do is I might just go in here and grab a new chat window. Come on, there we go. We'll create a new code here. I'm going to save this code. And this one's challenge 4. What I actually do is move this out of the way over here so I can see my active code. You can always shuffle things around as you need to. All right, so we're moving up by 1. So again, I'm just going to cheat here and copy. So I'm going to move up by 1 and then forward by 6. Ooh, where'd it go? There it is. And then we're going to agent turn. So left, and then we're going to do forward by 1. Now I'm not making any mistakes here, really, except for that one. Normally I make a lot more mistakes when I go through these things, and that's okay. It's good to make mistakes because it's a good way of learning. All right, so let's try challenge 4 and see how that works. And it just crashed on me again.
Oh, of course. I find it also really doesn't like when I'm streaming something. So Minecraft will be fine until I'm presenting it on stream, and then it crashes way more than it usually does.
Mm-hmm. But it should leave me exactly where I left off with the code. All right.
There we go.
All right, so let's press C. Let's bring up our code here, and it's still there, and it's got my challenge 4 still. I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna type T, and I'm gonna type challenge 4. There we go.
Ooh.
So I got the 1 tower lit. Okay, so we'll see if we can get to plate 2. Again, I'm gonna beam my agent back here. And let's bring up our code. this time we do need an additional turn in here because our agent is facing the wrong way. So we're going to turn right. And let's see here. The agent's going to have to go up 2.
Mhm.
Let's go move up 2. And come on. Don't crash on me again.
There we go.
Okay, so up 2 and then over. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, over 3. So we'll have to go forward by 3. And then down by 1. And we'll change that. There we go. So let's see if that works. Oh, there we go.
Hey.
Okay, so this time we have to get our agent through this lava here. So I am in creative mode, so I'm also unaffected by fire at this point. I can fly through that. Might actually be helpful. If you're still in survival mode, make sure you either put in /game mode C or go into your settings here and change your game from survival to creative here. And then you can go back in, and then you don't have to worry about getting into trouble in here. Because I think if you were in survival, if you fell down here, you might not be able to get back out again. Yeah, because that's 2 blocks deep. So you can only jump 1 block up in Minecraft. So that's a bit of a trap there for the unwary coder. Okay, so let's bring our coding agent back here.
I think you can swim up the lava as long as you get out of it before you burn too much.
Yeah, I can't remember how long it takes somebody at full health to. It's a lot faster than one would like.
Yeah.
I've had many situations where I've been mining for diamonds and had a horde of golden diamonds, and some zombies snuck up from behind me and pushed me into a lake of lava, and I haven't been able to get out because he keeps pushing me back in. That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see here. Pseudocoding from this point. So we're going to move. We're going to turn right once. And actually, we are just out about time. So maybe what we'll do is we'll leave it here, and you can carry on with this coding tutorial and see how far you can get, because these are fun little challenges, and I think every student that I've plopped in here seems to really enjoy it and have a lot of fun. One thing I would alert you to is that these aren't really meant as multiplayer activities a lot. I know a lot of people like to jump in, and students are always going, oh, can we play multiplayer? And ideally with coding, particularly with the ones that we're going to show you next, you can't even do multiplayer. Like, those experiences were not designed for multiplayer. If you try to have more than one person in them, they will barf, me using that technical term again. So let's head back to our slides. And so I did show you the exporting code. This is really great if you are wanting to assess what your students have done in code, see what they've built, test it yourself. They can export it. They can put it up in a cloud space and share it out to you. And then you can import it back in. So at any time you can import it back in. If you go into that My Projects, Start New Tutorial section here, there's a wee button. I wish they would actually make it a lot bigger, because it's really easy to miss.
Mm-hmm.
But if you click this button here, it will import code. It'll open up a dialog window. You can import that code into Minecraft, and then you can click on it and run it. It'll add it to your My Projects section. And just quickly sharing you some of those practical build code pieces for you. Building circles in Minecraft is really hard. Like, if you're to try to do it yourself just by hand, like it always looks like an egg, or a pancake kind of looking thing, with weird edges and stuff. So you can actually use a circle piece of code, which will create perfect circles for you of any kind of radius. So it's really cool. It also creates spheres, really handy. Sarah showed me this one where you can change any block with another block just by flying around. So that's that middle piece of code here. It's really cool if you want to repaint something really quickly with a different texture or different block, you can just use this piece of code. You can also build walls really quickly with this one here, which is another piece of code that Sarah shared with me. So I think, Sarah, you're going to be sharing some of this stuff later.
All 3 of these at 1. So if you want to play around with these codes, come back to my session at 1, and we will be building a fort with code.
All right, cool. So you get to see how those actually work in practice. So for our next session, which is starting in, I believe, in about 15 minutes, we are going to be starting with Hour of Code Escape Estate, which is one of my personal favorite coding experiences in Minecraft, and we're going to go through that. It's an escape room. It's a lot of fun. So we'll see you shortly. Thank you for joining us.